had a queer liberation march that I helped organize where 45,000 people showed up. 45,000 people! Do you know that, like, this is what our queer events usually look like? But we had 45,000 people in the streets of New York City demanding an end to rainbow capitalism and to all of the systems that suck around us. Because I think we all agree that this system sucks, yes? Yes? Come on, people! Fuck this! Okay, so I marched that day for 3 trans women in my heart that I carried with me as I marched. The first one was Layleen Polanco Extravaganza. Say her name, Layleen Polanco Extravaganza. She was a young woman from the ball scene in New York City who died in Rikers Island at the beginning of Pride Month while there's rainbow flags everywhere, okay? She was being held on a $500 bail, and she died in our fucked up criminal justice system, which is also part of this. So fuck that, right? Fuck that! Okay, you know what else I want to say fuck that to? I want to say fuck that to ICE. The immigration system in the United States, where Roxana Hernandez died last year, a trans woman from Honduras who was part of a caravan crossing through Mexico, okay? Fuck that. If that's what our immigration systems look like, that's not how we treat each other in queer community, is that right? So I marched for Roxy Hernandez. I also marched for Aubrey Dameron, who was a missing Indigenous woman, trans woman from Grove, Oklahoma. Because missing and murdered Indigenous trans women, Two-Spirit people, and cis women as well go missing all the time. This is a problem, right? This is a problem that we know has misogyny at its roots, that we know has patriarchy at its roots. We know has capitalism at its roots. And what do we say to all of that? Fuck that! We are building a movement together. We are queer people and we are fucking everywhere. How much does that rule? I love my people. I love all of you, and I haven't even met most of you yet. But queer people have good heads in their minds. And queer people everywhere are resisting the systems that suck. The systems that shut down 99.9% of the world's population. And like, we don't have time for this shit. I think you're all aware, like, global warming is real, right? There are some debates about that in the United States, but I feel like in Canada, y'all got that message. And like, if we want like the world to be safe for our straight friends' grandkids, then like, we have to do some work, you know? So, we need to share what we've learned from our transitions about being open to change and about rearranging ourselves to better match our outsides with what's actually in our hearts. Because my heart is telling me that capitalism is going down. It has to, in our lifetime, it has to, am I right? So we need to share what we're learning in queer community about our attempts to hold each other accountable and our failures to hold each other accountable, because it's in these attempts that we actually learn how to DIY this shit, which is what we're gonna have to do because these systems sucks. And like, if we're gonna bring about the queer world that I know all of us dream about, it's gonna take a lot of work, but we're gonna have to DIY this shit. But we're gonna have to keep it chill, we're gonna have to keep it peaceful. And I think that we can learn a lot from our Indigenous siblings about peace. So we're all aware that we're on stolen land, yes? Okay, and we're in Haudenosaunee territory. So right now, like, I think less than an hour from here in Akwesasne, they're having a gathering this week to talk about the great law of peace. That is the original law of this land, okay? And if you do a little bit of reading, there's a book that I feel like I just want to recommend for your queer book clubs here in Montreal. It's called A Basic Call to Consciousness. If you have not read it, please go out and have a look at it, because it talks about the peacemaker and it talks about the great law of peace, which again, I want to say is the original law of this land and continues to be practiced about an hour from here in Akwesasne. So I just think there's a lot of wisdom in it about collective liberation and what that looks like. And I recommend you to book club it and just see what you think and talk to your Indigenous and Two-Spirit friends here in town and learn what you can about it. Because again, to close, like, the systems that we are living in really fucking suck. And we have a limited amount of time in our lifetimes to change it. And I think that it's on all of us and all of the different movements that we intersect with to actually come together and bring that change about. And I think that we learn a lot from our attempts to make community, and we have learned a lot from our transitions about how do we chill about change and accept it and bring it about. So that's what I got for you. Can I have one more, like, fuck the system, please, before I walk away? Just, like, fill my heart with queer rage, please. 1, 2, 3. Fuck this system!
Here, that was Keto from New York, thank you so much. C'était un message très important.